Thanks for joining again today. And I hope we had a wonderful service for those of us that went to church. And for some of us that are not Christians, I hope we had a very wonderful day today. So we're going to be starting right now. So, right, yeah. So let me share my screen so we commence real quick. All right. I believe we can all see my screen. We can see Tableau, right? Okay. So today we're going to be like, before I start anything, I'm going to be introducing my co-host for today, which is Aliu Adekola and Victory Omovra. They're going to be joining me to facilitate this. Like, to if you have any question, you have any concern, you can always tag them in the Q&A or in the chats. All right. So they will attend to you. All right. So yeah. And please, if you you want to ask any question, just feel free. You can just tag them, like I said, and they would like call my attention to it. Is that okay? All right. So today we're going to be building the analytics consultant dashboard. I believe yesterday was impactful. We had an amazing time with Bola. I mean, that was really, really great. Very, very helpful for anybody that likes that you started learning Tableau one way or the other. You learned quite a lot of things, right? So today we're going to be building the analytics consultant dashboard. So, and I'm going to be starting right in 1, 2, and 3. All right. So let's get started. So I have my data connected already. Yeah, this is the data. We also have it right here. I'm coming, let me just pull up the data right on this screen. I'm sharing from 2 screens. So I have my data set here. I just want to quickly walk us through what the data is all about. So here's the data. So before I walk us through this, right? So I want to group this lesson, like this training, to 3 parts. The first part is, what is the problem I'm trying to use this data set to solve, right? And so this is what really inspired the old visualization and the old dashboard building. I've been working as an independent contractor for like almost a year. And some of the challenges I usually face is ability for them to keep track of contractor details, the projects, the delivery time. Like some of their demographic information are hard to find because there's no a proper structure to it, which inspired me to like come up with this idea to build this. So that's part of the challenges I was facing then as an independent contractor. So I feel like, okay, this can really solve and go a long way for anybody that wants to keep track of either their employee or you want to work for any organizations and some other information like that. So I have this consultant performance data sets right here, which is focused on the analysis parts. So let's say, for instance, you're working with an analytics firm, probably a consulting firm, and you want to like be part of them. Either you're working for them as a full-time or on a contract base, or you're working as a part-time, anyone. So this is a perfect example for you to take a look at it and learn from. And I believe it's something that every organization can implement and make use of it. So that is number one, the problem I was facing then, which inspired me to create this particular dashboard, right? And I'm going to be showing you how to do that today. And the next thing is my approach. So my approach is basically some of the things I did behind the scene, right? Okay, I thought about it. Is there a way I can get a data set to do this? No, I can't get my hands on a very good data set that really, really backs the idea I was thinking about. So I said, okay, let me create one by myself. So I used ChatGPT, which is Adam Miko's ChatGPT, right? Where we call it data mockstar to create this data set, wrote a few lines of prompts, and yeah, this is what we have. So I prompted AI to like give me 2 worksheets in a workbook, where the first worksheet will comprise of everything about the consultants that has to do with their demographic informations. As you can see here, we have from column A to column T. We have every of their information from their ID to their initials to their full name, their gender, the years of experience, and so many other informations like that has to do about them. And the second worksheet here is talking about their performance-based information. So you can see I have from the first column and to the last one, I have their consultant's ID, the tax ID, client's name, the project name, project type, and when they started the project, when the project ended, time of delivery, and so many other informations like that. So, and yeah, with this, I think I should be able to like create something around it. So let's get started. So I connected my data sets to Tableau, as you all know, right? This is the data. So I have the 2 worksheets here. You can see sheets, consultant, performance. And let me show you how I connected them together. So I have a primary key, which is in the consultant worksheet, which is this consultant ID. So the consultant ID serves as my primary key to connect my first worksheet to the second one, right? So, and that's pretty much straightforward, right? So let's get to 8. So right here, okay, sorry, before then, I would like to rename my data to something more interesting. So let me just remove this. So I have it. So you can see this is the first worksheet and this is the second worksheet. So I always love to like, before I start anything, I always love to like group my worksheets by folder so that as I'm building, I'll like be creating folder to keep some certain set of information without mixing things up. So that's basically trying to be organized. I love to like, whenever I'm creating any parameters, any calculations, I love to like create them in folder so that it give them a space and it makes it more organized and more good looking rather than everything is just together on the same view, right? So I'll start with the first step is I would like to explain something briefly, which is part of the things we're going to be using today. And that thing is just an aggregated function that I learned. It's a little bit of a trick in Tableau. And also there are other ways you can do it that would like help you to like view things, especially if you want to view text or you want to view anything that has to do with text, right? Or you call it string. So I think it's a very good trick to learn. So it serves as a placeholder. And what that function is basically your sum, mean, average, and all those stuff. So right now, I'm going to show you something about this mean of 0. So this mean of 0, for instance, is simply saying that it's serving as a placeholder at the middle point. Just like the same way you have your quadrants, you have straight line, which is your vertical line, and the horizontal line. So the original point, which is the origin, is 0. So that's what it's simply saying here. So let's say, for instance, I change this to 1, and let's see what happened. Sorry. You can see, so now you can see where my origin is right now, see where 1 is, and see where 2 is. What if I do something like a lower number that is lesser than 1, let's say 0.5, for instance, you can see. So this is like a placeholder that would keep any of the thing you're like placing into this view as text or as a value on a particular point that you want to see it. So let's say I want to see a particular value right here at the midpoint, right? How do I do that? So let me do a quick example for us. Let's say I want to see the consultant's initial to be like at the middle point, for instance. So I can drag this consultant initial to, let's say, text, and you see them right here. You can see showing right here. And let's say I want to filter for just only one person. I just want to filter for the first person. So you can see it right here. So if I edit this axis, which is double click on it and just edit the axis from 0 to the endpoint, which is the fixed point to be 1. You see it's now at the middle point now, because this is where 0.5 is, and this is what I have here. 0.5 is 0.5. So we have 0 to 0 to 1 right here, and the middle point, right, from 0 to 1, we have several numbers. 0.1, 0.2, 0. Like we have numerous numbers in between that point. So me putting a minimum of 0.5 here is saying that from 0 to 1, just locate that midpoint, which is 0.5, and just put my text there, which is this initial. So that's how it works. So it's a little bit of a trick I learned, which I'm going to be using it today to teach us how to, view your any type of information that has to do with string in a better format. All right. So let me remove all of this. So I will start with the name header. So I'm going to start with the name header, which is the demographic information. So I'm going to be building from the demographic down to the project breakdown and to the tax overview as well. So that's the 3 parts I'm going to be grouping it into. So for the demographic, I want to have the name of the consultant, their roles, their position, gender, and some like anything that has to do with demographic. So I want to be able to show that. So let's do it. So I'm going to start with the first person, which is I'm going to be using the placeholder. So this time around, I want to show things on 2 parts of things. I want to show the initial name, and I also want to show their full name with their consultant ID. These are the 3 information I want to show. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to say mean of, let's say, 0.5. Sorry, 0.5. So on this point right now, I will change this max to shape, then drag my initial to text. You can see it right here. So I'm going to edit this axis to a custom axis, which I did earlier. I explained that earlier, right? So you can see it at the middle point right now. If I put it to entire view, you see where it will be. So can you see it right here? Good. So, and at this point, I also want to not only show the initial, but should be in this form. And by changing the shape to this, I can make it a little bit bigger, right? Then I also want to have, remember I said I want to have their full name and their consultant ID. So that will be on another mark, right? On another layer. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to set another placeholder for that one. So this time around, I'm going to do 0.5 as well. So we can always adjust it. So if you want to adjust your placeholder to anything that you feel like makes sense to you, you can always do that. So I'm going to adjust this, but I just want to see what I'm trying to do. So for the second mark, which is this one, the second one I have here, I don't want to see the initial, but I want to see their full name. You can see it here. You can see Michael Anderson here. Look at the initial here. And I also want to see the consultant ID with it. We're still going to edit the whole view, and it's going to look more better. So let's do that. So I want to adjust this. I want it in such a way that it looks more like I have this right here at the top, right at this point, and the name and the ID just below it. So how can I do that? So I can adjust this by just changing this one to 0.85. Then I can say this one to be 0.25. Okay, now I'm going to dual the axis. So dual axis is simply saying that you're trying to combine the 2 aggregated functions together. So you're trying to join the first one here and the second one here together. So if I click on dual axis, I'll just right click on this drop down here and I'll dual the axis. And now you see what I have here right now. Don't get panicked, right? So right now I'm going to edit this, change it to a custom. But before then, I would synchronize the dual axis so everything matches up like this. So you can see right here. Okay, yeah, this is what I want to have. So you can see, let me go back. So right now is in my column shelf, right? Is in my column shelf, and what I'm trying to achieve here is just simply saying that I want the initial to be here and the full name and the ID should be under it. So how can I achieve that? Why I've dragged it to the column shelf or I build this in the column shelf is because I can easily swap to the row shelf by just simply clicking on this button here. You can see this button will swap the rows and column. So where you have to have the columns, you have the rows. So if I click on it, then you see it. So the aggregated minimum value I have here, just switch to the rows and that's it. Easy peasy, right? So this is what I'm trying to achieve. So I want to have the initial like this and the full name and the ID like this. So let's format real quick. So I'm going to remove this header. Then I'm going to adjust this. So I want this initial to be at the middle point of this shape. Remember that I changed my max card here to shape and I picked this particular shape here. So I want to like adjust the text so it fits into the shape. So how do I do that? So first off, I would like to change my text formats, the fonts. I want to use Arial, Arial, where are you? Then I will align it. So the alignment is going to help me bring this text into this circle. So if I click on center and I click on this, then it goes in. Now, let me now edit it and make it white and click on OK. Then allow it to overlap. Sorry, let me remove this. Okay, everything is showing. So now everything is inside, right? But it's not working as I want it to be. So what should I do? I can easily just drag the consultant name and just filter for only the consultant's name that I want to see there. You can see it's only applicable to David Johnson now, and I can see the full details of David Johnson right here. So let me just quickly format. So for this one, I don't need the shape. So I'm just going to change it to NAT, or let me just change it to shape. So I'm going to pick a transparent shape for this. So the trick here is I'm trying to hide this shape here. So I can pick a transparent shape. Sorry, this is not transparent. Okay, I can pick a transparent shape. Then I can just take it down, then reduce the opacity of this. Okay, for those of us like, I'm sorry if I'm too fast, I'm going to take that part again. So the concept here is that I'm trying to show the consultant initial, and I also want to show their full name and the consultant ID. Then I remember I explained something about this aggregated value here. So it's like a trick in Tableau whereby you can use it as a placeholder. Like I explained right here that when you have minimum of 0, for instance, is at the origin is 0. But if you have minimum of 1, so it's going to capture from 0 to 1. So that's what I'm trying to do. So if I have, let's say, minimum, right, of 1, for instance, you can see this is from 0 and this is 1. So which means this will be a placeholder for anything I want to show here. So let's say if I drag a consultant initial to this, sorry, this is ID, a consultant initial to this. So you see that it's showing from the very first point. Let me filter for this. So you can see it's showing for what I'm trying to explain here. So from 0 to 1 is going to show the initial. All right. So this particular point here is serving as my placeholder. So to actualize what I'm trying to do, so I have to use this min 1, right? I'm trying to explain that we're using this function because we want to like achieve, we want to like put it in a position whereby we want to see it. So it's dynamic. You can do any number. It all depends on what you want to achieve, which is what I did here. What I did here was simply just playing around with this value here. Now, if I change this to 0.5, for instance, you can see it moves a little bit closer to this, right? If I change this one to, let's say, 0.5 as well, you see they will meet at the same point. You can see they will meet at the same point because they now have the same value. But if I change this one, okay, let me give this one 0.7, then it's a little bit distant from where I have it here. So at this point right here is 0.5. At this point right here is 0.7. And what I did was just simply just to get hold of the two together, I combined the axis of the two, which is this axis with this axis here, by simply just dualing the axis and just I dual the axis and I synchronize the axis to have that range of 0 to 1 as a custom range. Do you get what I'm trying to say now? So that's how it works. Please, if you still don't understand, please just feel free to reach out to me. I'll take my time to explain it again. So we really need to move fast right now. Sorry about that. But I hope we understand what I'm trying to do right here. Sorry, let me just remove this. So now you can see that I have everything on the screen here. Both DJ, David Johnson, all the consultant initials are here. So I want to create like a particular parameter that works in such a way that I can be able to filter and change any consultant. So I'm going to show you how to create a parameter for that. And it's very, very simple. Just come to the consultant name right here and click on the drop down. Then you see come to create and you change it. Just click on parameters. And it's going to create the list of the names of the consultants like this as a parameter. I'm going somewhere. So when you have that, you can see it's in string, which is text, right? I can see the name of all the 4 of them. Then if I click OK, you see it over here. All right. So right now, I'm going to link this parameter. Remember, what we're trying to achieve right now is that I'm trying to do it in such a way that I don't have everything in this circle. I should be able to filter for a particular consultant name, click on it, then it switch the view. So the way the parameter works is that whenever you click on a particular consultant or you pick a particular consultant, it will show and drill down to every other information under them, like their name, their ID. And that's what I'm trying to achieve right now. So I'm going to link this parameter to a calculations that will help us to do the switching. So parameter is there to be the forerunner, right? Will serve as what we're trying to switch. Now, if I show this right now, if I show this parameter right now, it's not going to be active. If I show this parameter and I switch, nothing is happening because it has not come to life yet. So I have to create something that would work as a motive, like that will make that move to, like, say, if I switch to Michael Anderson or Oliver Brown, or I switch to Emma Thompson, I should be able to see every information about them right here. So I'm going to just simply create a calculated field. So I'm going to click on this drop down and create calculated field and call it consultant true or false. So this T/F means consultant true or false. And the reason why I name it like that is because I want it to, like I said earlier, to be able to control things. So I can equate the parameter to the consultant name in such a way that anytime I click on David Johnson, it should show everything about David Johnson in this view, right? Right here, right on this view, I should be able to see David Johnson initial, his name, and his ID. So I'm going to simply say consultant parameter, which I created here, then is equals to the consultant name, which is the field that will make it up. So if I click on apply and I drag this particular calculation to filter and I click on true and I click on OK, then let's say, let me see, you can see right now it's showing for Emma Thompson. If I click on David, it shows for David Johnson. If I click on Michael, it shows for Michael Anderson. So the parameter is there, but it's not working. But what makes it work is this particular calculated field I created, which simply is saying that this consultant parameter, which I created earlier, and the consultant parameter is just the list of the names of the consultants as a string, equating it to the name, which is the field itself. So consultant parameter makes it more dynamic and more flexible to switch in between their names and get their information right. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So please, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat, or Victory or any other person will come attention to it. All right, thank you. So this is my name header. I can rename this to the name header sheets. So we're coming up. So let me quickly edit this as well. Let me change this text font to this. And let me edit the background. Let me format everything. Just want to keep it clean. I hope we learned everything about formatting your view yesterday. I hope Bolan did that very well. So I shouldn't waste so much time doing this. We all understand what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to format the view, try to remove the lines, the grid lines, the axis rules, ruler, and every other information like that from this view. Just to keep the view clean. That's basically all, without the lines, because we don't need it. Like, right, trust me, we don't. We do not need it. So remember, we did have this placeholder, which the first one is 0.7 as this, and this 0.5 as this one. All right. So that's how it works. So let me change this one to, I think I already did. Okay, I think I did. And let me remove the two tip from here, so it doesn't affect, so I can over. So we have it right here. So I want to give, I want to split things into two view, like to have it as gender. So I want to like drag gender to color. So I can have for male, because we have two male and two female as a consultant right here. I want to have a particular color for male. So I can easily just drag my gender field right here. This is my gender field here, and drag it to color. Then I can edit the color for male. So if I edit the color for male, there's a particular color I want it to be for male. Sorry, I'm coming. The particular color for the male, I'm going to change it right now. I have my document of where I have all information I'm trying to work on here. And I'm going to place it, paste it here, and okay. So this is the color for male. So for Emma Thompson, like right now, I want to have another color for female. So the color for female as well, I will change it. And just change it to a very nice color that would look more appealing. So this is the color for male. So I'm just trying to group them to like the men with this color and the women with this color, right? Just to keep things clean. So we've edited our view. So we can move on to the next thing, which is the role, position, and specialization. So I'm going to duplicate this tab just to keep things very, very fast. So I want to show their role, their position, and their specialization. So I'm going to remove. So on my row here, I want to have 0.7, 0.5, but not dual axis. So I'm going to remove this. So it's standalone. So it's I want to have it this way. I'm going to remove all of this for now. Then the last one on my row shelf is 0.4. Minimum of 0.4. Mean of 0.4. Then on my column axis, I want to have just 0.2. Minimum of 0.2. So right. So for the first one here, which is my first placeholder here, so I'm going to drag my row, the row, to text. So I'm going to keep this one as nat bar, reduce the size. Okay, let me do work position. Let me see work position. What about specialization? Sorry, let me check my data. I'm looking for where. Okay, work position. So what position it is? So it's work position. Work position, contractor. For the next placeholder here, I want to have role. I'm going to change this to not increase the size, increase the opacity. Sorry, not at me. So, then their specialization will be for this one. Let's see, full time. So for this one, I want to keep it as shape. So I can have, so I'm going to pick a shape for this one. So I'll pick a shape for this one. Under the custom shape, I can have this. Then I can increase the size of it like this. Then make it white so that it can pop up on it. So you can see pops up on it. So let me reduce it a little bit. It's too big. Okay, that's decent. So I want to have the role. But before then, I think, okay, I see where the issue is. So now it's showing lead consultants and their specialization. So I want to keep this one as text. So I'm going to be reducing the nuts, change it to shape, pick a transparent shape just like I did earlier. Pick a transparent shape, reduce the opacity of it. So you can't see the dot. If I hover on it, you can't see anything right here. The same thing I'm going to do here. So I'm going to pick a transparent shape. So you can see it's not showing. Then I can just change it like this. So it looks clean. If I hover on it, you're not seeing anything again, right? So let me just edit this one to so everything is good, right? So let me do this header and let me format this view. Okay, I can just copy from here. So you can copy formatting from a previous worksheet and just paste it here. Okay, it's not working. So I need to manually do it right here. Let me see. I need to remove those lines in the view. Let's see where they are coming from. These grid lines and the trend line. So that's that. So I have the work position. I can just say role, position, and specialization like this. All right. So that's the next thing we're building. So what I just did here is basically just, if I switch to Iman Johnson now, you see it's working as expected. So if I switch to Mike Anderson, it changed to their role and their work position. Are they on full-time? Are they on contract? Senior consultant, which is their role, and their specialization is data analytics, right? Basically. So you can see that. So the next thing is gender and age. So I'm going to be building the gender and age. Remember, I said we're dealing with the demographic information first off before we start building the other KPIs. So I'm going to duplicate this. The same thing. So I'm just utilizing, the placeholder, gender and age. So I'll remove everything I have here. So for the gender and age, it's pretty much simple. I can remove all of this. Then I can drag, I can say minimum of, let me use another placeholder for this one. So all I'm just trying to let you know is that you can utilize this placeholder very, very well. For anything that you want to show, you can utilize it. Then I'm going to have another placeholder. So this first one will start for my gender Why the second one will start for my age. Then you can see this one will start for my gender, which is this. So I can drag gender to text. You can see showing female, male. So if I drag the consultant this to this point and I click on true, and I show this parameter right here. So it's showing that Emma Thompson is female. And if I drag the age to text here, change it to discrete dimension here. So it's showing age 44. Showing age 44 here. So let me click on another person. You can see is a male and is age 34, right? So now let me just change this to shape. So I'm going to pick this, the entire view. This one I'm going to change it to shape. Sorry, somebody is drawing something on the view. Please, if you are doing that, please, somebody is drawing something on the view. Don't know. Victory, please. You might want to help me check this out. Somebody is drawing something on the view, on the screen. Okay. So the age, right? The same thing I want to do here. Just change it to this shape. Then let me just flip it so it looks like this. Then I can adjust it. I can make the circle a little bit bigger. Then for this gender, I can't show this because what I'm trying to achieve here is I want this male to be inside like this, just like the same way I have this circle, I have the initial inside the circle. So I want the gender to be inside the circle as well. So I'm going to change this gender. I'm going to change it from what I have here, which is the original text, to and change it to an alias. So we have the original text here. And how did I do that? So I just go to text here and right click or just click on the drop down. You see the edit aliases. So I will edit this one to just F stand for female and M for male. That's simple and that's it. So you can see I have M here. So let me increase the size of this. So, and I can make it align. So I will change the text to Arial font, which is what we've been using. Then I would make it align. So you can see, right? So the same thing I'm going to do here. So I'm going to increase the size of it and change it to Arial font, then make it align. So you can see that's it. Let me hide. So let me change this from default to custom fixed axis. So because I want to have it pretty much close to each other. So the same thing I'm going to do here. I want to have it close to each other. So I have to like reduce the axis. You can see now looks good. So I can stop showing the header. Let me copy formatting here if it will work. If it doesn't, okay, it worked. So right. So I also want to have my gender in color. You can see. So if I switch to Emma Thompson now, you see it changed. So that's how dynamic this parameter works. Remember, we've connected. If I change it to Mike Anderson now, you see it's changing according to the gender I put on this part here. Right, yeah, right here. So Tableau saves everything you're doing step by step. It automatically saves it. So you don't have to go back and be changing the color again. Automatically saved. So I'm going to do age. So for this age, let me, oops. I didn't pick the right this thing for the age. Okay. Let me confirm for this one as well. Okay. All right. This looks good. Let me see. I can just change the color for this one to be this, right? Or I can pick any of the natural color. No, I wouldn't want this. let me pick. Yeah, something like this is good, or this one. Yeah. So let me just settle with this. So the last thing we're going to be creating under the demographic real quick is the hire dates and years of experience. So I'm going to do the same, duplicate this, rename it to hire dates and years of experience. So I'm just going to simply swap it. This is how I want it to look like as well. So I'm going to swap hire dates for where gender is, and I'm going to change some marks, change the marks to text and every other thing like that. So hire dates. Sorry, let me drag this one out. Drag it to text. I want to change it to a custom hire dates, which is going to be this month, day, and year. So how do I do that? I just click on this drop down here. The first part you have here is for dimension, while the second part here is for continuous. So I clicked on the dimension part of these edits, and I changed it to a custom month, day, and year, kind of a date parts function. So this date part function is just the same way you have your date part function in Excel, that you can extract from a date in Excel. You can extract the year, the month, and the day from it. I would have loved to do that, but it will take so much of our time. So let me do that right here. So I'm going to reduce this, then change this to a transparent shape. So let me change it to a custom transparent shape. So we have it. So let me have this right here. So I want to have higher dates at the top like this. Then change it to something like a little bit like this. Then the same thing I'm going to do here for years of experience. I'm just going to come to years of experience here and swap it, change it to dimension, then you see it. But this time around, I want it to be a transparent shape as well. Reduce the size, reduce the opacity, just like what I did earlier. Then I'm going to edit the text, and at the top of it, I will have years of experience, but not in full, because of I wouldn't want to like write it in full. So I'm just going to take this like this. So I have the hire dates and years of experience. So let me remove the tooltip. I just click in this. So the tooltip is gone. Okay, this one, let me edit the tooltip as well. I don't want the tooltip should show. So it's nice and clean, right? Nice and clean. So I'm done with the demographic part of things. So let me just color it. Let me just so that to group it to what I'm about to show you guys later. So right now, I'm going to move to the metric parts of this particular project we're working on. So what is the metric part? I simply just want to like show things based on 4 categories of metric. Number 1, total projects over time. So I want to be able to see for each of these consultants, how far they are building, how to track their projects, their performance, the start date, the end dates, the type of project they worked on, the average time they spend. So these are the 4 major things I want to like show us. Number 1 is the total project. Number 2 is the billing amount they charge per project. Or they collected per project rather, pardon me. They collected per project. Number 3 is the average time spent on each of these projects. And number 4 is the client satisfaction rating for each of these projects. So let's start with that. So I'm going to start with the first project. So the way I want to see it is like I want to have for each of the projects to be captured in every month. So, and if I look at the date here, I have the start date field here, and I have the end date field here. But majorly, I just want to focus on the end date because for every project you started as a consultant, there's a particular day you will end it. So from the start date to the end date, that's how many days. Let's say, for instance, you spend 5 days or a week. So the end date will always be in record. So I want to like focus on using the end date as how things should work right here. Now, I will create a calculated field to show each of these projects over time. So, but first off, I would like to know how many projects per each of these guys here. Let me remove this. So if I drag project or tax ID, for instance, if I drag it to text, if I drag it to text and I change it to continuous, or I change it to discrete, and I count it to know the total amount of project we have here. So I'm going to change it from count. So I have 501 total tax. So which means the 4 consultants did 501 projects in a year, because this data set just captures for only a single year. So now I want to split it for them. So I can easily just drag this guy here, the filter, and say true, and just show my parameter to see for each of them what they are working on. So for Mike Anderson now, he has only 115 projects in 365 days. David Johnson have 148. Emma Thompson have 125. And Oliver Brown has this. So I just wanted to keep in mind of how many projects or how many tasks each of these consultants has worked on. Either it's pending, either it's ongoing, either it's delayed, or any other thing. So now let's group things. So I'm going to start with total projects. So I'm going to write a calculated field that says total projects. And total project just simply saying count all the tax ID, right? All the tax. I can even use another field. Let's say, sorry, why is it not capturing this? The tax ID. And if I click on OK, you can see it here. If I drag it to the view, you can see it's still the same thing as what I have here. So it's just an alternative way of saying, if you don't want to be like switching it and be changing it right here to count, you can just create a calculated field that you can easily just drag to the view and it still works like the default one you have. All right. So now from this total project, I want to now group it to monthly basis. So I want to be able to compare the current months and the previous months. So that's what I'm working towards. So I'm going to create a calculated field again that says current month project done, which means how many projects each of these guys has done. So I'm going to say if months, or I can say, okay, don't let me do this. I can say months. Okay, before I do this, I want to be able to link it just the same way I do the the consultant name with the consultant field, which serve as this our parameter here to us to switch. Because at the end of the day, I want to be able to create something like that as well that will serve as a monthly, a month filter that I can click on January, February, and to switch the view. So I'm going to create a parameter that will serve for us that way. So I'm going to name this parameter month project date parameter. And I'll make it integer list. So I'll say 1. So 1 here will serve as my January, like this. 2 here will serve as my February. I believe Bolan also explained this yesterday. So I think it's pretty much straightforward. So I'm just going to just quickly do that. April. And this is May. And this is June. 7 will be July. 8 will be August. September. And October. Then November. And the last, but not the least, December. Okay, so I can click on OK. Now, I have a parameter, but it's not active yet, just the same way I did this. So this parameter, if I show this parameter, if I switch to February, you can see the view, nothing is changing. March, nothing is changing. So how do I do that? So I need to create like a calculated field that will link to the parameter so that by the time I switch the parameter, it will switch to that month. So how do I do that? So I'm going to write a conditional statement right here that says, if I have a month parameter, if any of the month parameter I have from January to December, if I select January, then return the total number of projects in that month. And let me explain. So let me write the calculation so I will explain much better. So I have if the month of this parameter here is equals to months dates. Now, months then is asking me for the date. So I'm going to be using end dates. Sorry. Months, projects, dates, like this. Then I can say, then give me the tax ID, then end dates. Now, this is not complete yet. So what I'm essentially saying right here is I'm trying to link if this month here, the selected month here, which is this parameter is February, is equals to February of that project, the months in that project end date. So if the selected date here is February and the project end date is also February, then it should return the tax, the number of tax I have there in that month. So I'm going to simply just wrap this whole thing up with a count function. So I have a count to wrap it up with. So what this count function will do is just count the tax ID in that month, February, and just return it, how many tax. So in that case, I'll be able to know that, oh, for this particular consultant, this is how many tax they have in February, this is how many tax they have in this and all that. So if I click on OK, I have this. So let me group it by folder. I have to create a folder. This one is for projects. So I'm going to duplicate it for previous months as well. So let me just do that real quick. We don't have so much time. Hey, yeah. I'm going to change this to previous months. So for previous months, I'll just simply subtract one from it. That's it. And I'm going to create another calculated field because I want to be able to see things. So you can see for previous month, they have this. So if I remove this guy now, let me remove this. I drag current month, previous months. Sorry. So for current month, 14. For previous month, which means for February is 14. For January is 6. So if I click on March, you can see for March is 6. Right? So that's how it works. For April, you see, now this is for March and this is for April. This is for April and this, okay. This is for April. This is for April and this is for May below it. So let me quickly just move on. So we want to like also create a month over month difference between them. So how do we do that? It's very, very simple. So I'm just going to create that. So I'm going to name this month over month project done. Month over month project done. And simply just saying the current month of the project done divided by the previous month of the project done minus 1. So I'm going to add it here just to keep things clean. So I'm going to also create like the symbol that will change over time. So I'm trying to bring everything together at once. So I'm going to create a calculated field and name this month over month project done color like this. So I'm going to say this now. Bolawan used a particular function yesterday called sign function. Alternatively, if you don't want to use that sign function, I can teach you another function that you can use that will still serve the purpose of that sign function. Just leave it by saying the month over month project greater than 0, like this, and click on OK, then you can always play around with it. So let's do that. So I'm going to drag current month like this. Then I also would love to like create a percentage that will serve as a thing between the like percentage difference, but not like the one I did earlier here, not like this one right here, but something like a difference in percentage of compared to every other month. So you can always see the switch. So I'm going to create a calculated field again. So for this one, it's going to be month over month percentage of projects done. So I will say current month divided by previous months. That's it. Current month divided by previous month to get the percentage. So I have everything that I need for projects. So now I have this. Let me change it to entire view. I have it right here. So I'm also going to be using a placeholder here. Okay, I'm going to be using a placeholder right here. Going to be using a placeholder. So I'm going to be using minimum of let's play around with it. 0.2. Let me use, sorry, a sec. How do I move this? Sorry, okay, good. Yeah, good. 0.5. Let me do that. 5. Do selected nuts. Okay, I selected nuts here. So I'm also going to have the one that would work for the KPI, which is also 0.5 right here. So the first one here, we start for this and the percentage, basically. So I'm going to change this one to percent. Percentage difference. Okay. So let me edit this. So I want to have this. I think I have it right here. Sorry, trying to. I have the text somewhere. I want to like get it. Oops. Let me change this one to 0. So it looks okay like this. And let me change this one to 0.45. This one should change it to a smaller value and give it another color. So yeah, that's it. So let me quickly format the view. Format the view. Okay. I mean, let me make this a little bit bigger. Let's say 18. Okay. This makes sense. And even change it to shape. Pick a transparent color, just the same way I did earlier. Looks good. Change it to 0 to 1. All right. So for the second point, which is this second placeholder here, so I'm going to be having my color and the month over month percentage. Where are you? Where are you? Ah, no. Sorry, color and percentage month over month like this. So I'm going to format this. Change it to percentage, percent, change it to shape. Now I want to have a shape for this, custom shape. I can pick this. And I will increase the size. Okay, so alignment, remember alignment, change it to 0 to 1. Then I get, let me make it a little bit smaller. Okay, adjust text. This. Now for force, I want the force to just be like anything force red like this. Then I'm going to reduce the opacity to like, let's say 20 or 35, for instance. So it looks good, or let's say 45, for instance. Okay, this looks good. What about for true? Let's see if you have anything for true. And for true, I want it to be showing green like this. Then I can make the font match with the color like this. So it makes more sense. So you can see. So I'm going to format this month over month number to a custom value, which I already have it somewhere here. Custom value bar. I'm going to paste it here. So what this is going to do is simply, anytime you have the positive parts, it will show this one. Every time you have the negative part, it shows this format. Basically, that's it. So very good. I think we're done. So I can name this one number of projects done. All right. So it's very, very dynamic. I can see for Emma Thompson, you can see it's still intact. All right. So let's do, this is my KPI for that. So let me do for the bar charts that we use to represent how it looks like compared to every other consultant. So I want to create like a bar chart that will compare. If I select, for instance, I select Mike Anderson compared to every other people I have there, then she'll be able to highlight Mike Anderson, one over on it. So the color will make it distinct compared to every other consultant. So what am I talking about? So if I open this now, I click on drag projects here, current month project, then I compare it with, I'm sorry, that is somebody. Sorry, I was distracted. I thought I saw somebody's com compare with the consultant. So you can see, so in the month of, so if I should show my parameter, for instance, in the month of March, David did just 21 projects, 13 projects, 10 projects, and Olivia Brown did just 6, right? So now there's a trick I want to like introduce here. So everything is like the same color. A better way to do this is just simply by just dragging this consultant true or false statement to color. And what that would do is that it's going to like build and just show the particular consultant that is selected, highlight it with a different color compared to every other ones. So that's what I'm trying to achieve, basically. So if I drag this consultant true or false calculated field to the color, you can see. Now, because right now, if I should show this parameter, and you see how dynamic it's working. So if I switch to David Johnson, you can see. If I switch to Emma Thompson, you can see. If I switch to Mike Anderson, you can see. And so on and so forth, right? So that's how it works. So this consultant true or false, remember that we created it and we are using it to serve as a filter to be able to show, if I select a particular consultant, show every information about that consultant on the view. So the same thing is right what I'm doing right here. So I'm just simply saying that, okay, this consultant, anything I select here, just highlight it for me. If I select Emma Thompson, highlight Emma Thompson for me. So that's what it's doing right here. So I want to change this color. Let me see if I can edit the color. Or what is this? Okay. So for true, I have a color for true. Let me get it in my doc. I have a color for true. I'm just going to paste it here. And click on OK. Then for false, for this false, I'll just pick this color on my background, which is gray. So you can see that is how it works. So if I switch to David, switch to Michael, you can see, and that's it. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. So this is a breakdown of each of these consultants by each of the current month's projects they did. Probably in this one is for March. What if I select for April? You can see it's very, very dynamic. And that's all we need. So I'm just going to name this as number of projects. Rename the worksheet as number of projects rank. That's it. Rank like this. So let me do some text formatting, basically. So I'm going to format this, change it to Arial. Not this one. Okay. So, and then let me format text. Everything should be Arial. Tooltip Arial. Title Arial. So for the title of this one, I would like to change it from the sheet name to, sorry, I'm coming. Let me get it. I think I have it somewhere here. I like to change the sheet title. Okay. So it sounds like this. So yeah. So now we've done for projects. So remember, we just finished projects. Now let's continue we have 3 more to go, 3 metrics to show. Remember I said projects, billing amounts, average time of delivery, and average satisfaction rating. So this is for projects. Now let's do the same thing we created here for the remaining metrics. So what I'm going to be doing from now is just watch me. I'll be duplicating a lot and I'll be fixing it on the view. Create the worksheet and fix it on the view. So see what I do. So I'm going to duplicate this and edit this. So I'm going for billing amounts right now. So this will now be current month billing amounts. Just to make things faster. So I'm going to change, instead of returning tax ID right now, I'm going to return billing amounts. But now I'm not going to be using counts as the aggregated function here because we're talking about money here, right? So money should be like summation of everything. So in a month, how much did they have in total compared to previous month? Just that's what I'm just trying to do here. So I'm going to use the sum function here and click on OK. So for this one, I'm going to remove it from the folder and create his own folder for it. Create a folder, billing amounts folder. So right here, so the next one is this. I'm going to duplicate this one, rename it. Change it to sum, right? Okay, and then drag this to its position, the month over month, duplicate this one, edit it. So you can see I'm editing the duplicate version, not the original version, please. So month over month billing amounts. So I'm just going to swap it CM for this one, PM for this one, and then OK. Then drag it to its rightful place. Then lastly, for this color, I'll duplicate it, edit, billing, amount, color. So this should be it. So instead of using the sign, this can also work for that sign function. So that's another better way of showing your indicators, right? So drag it to its position. So I'm going to duplicate this worksheet and just do the same. So for this one, it's now going to be billing amounts, KPI. Let me do the same thing here. Billing amounts. So I'm just going to swap it. So I'm going to swap this for this and make the figure, format it. You know, this is in USD. So I'm going to create a custom like this. Then month over month. So for this one, I don't need this for this one. I don't need it. I don't really think it's just based on what I feel, right? That's what I just feel like. I don't need it. Then right here, I have the color for this one. Then this one. So let me just, oops, sorry. Okay. So let me just format custom. Then I'll change it to, so for true, this one for true, let me increase the size of this guy a little bit. For false, I'm looking for false. Okay, for false, should be red. So default color, basically. So I'm gonna do the same here, duplicate this guy. Duplicate this guy. So billing, amount, rank. So CM billing, just swap it, and there you go. Sorry, I have this here. I need that. Okay. So, and let me format this view. Sorry, I forgot to format this view. Forgot to format this worksheets. Okay, I would love to leave the zero line here, but let me pick something that is not really that obvious, right? So I have this. So I'm going to copy formatting from this guy, paste the formatting here, so everything looks clean. So let me do some alignments so everything looks good, because I wouldn't want to be doing it. I wouldn't want to do it when I'm building the dashboard. I won't have time to do that. So let me just do that right now. Like go. So the next one is, so we're done with the billing, basically, that's it. So the next one is average time of delivery. So I'm going to duplicate this guy, edit it, and say time to deliver. So this is the field. Now, remember it's average. I'm using average. So I'm going to change this one to current month average delivery time. Delivery time. So I'm going to remove it from here and create his own folder. So I'm going to call it average delivery time. The same thing I'm going to do here, just edit. So I'm going to be doing much of duplicates as time goes on because of time. Gosh. Hey. Then month to month. Wait, no. I have to duplicate this. Sorry about that. So let me duplicate this, then edit it. Month over month, average every time. Then I'll swap this goes for this goes for this. Then I want to also have the sign. So let me create the sign. So which is month over month, average every time color, right? Say this greater than 0. Otherwise, so just give me. So I'm just going to duplicate this guy here, take it and name it average delivery time. Sorry. Why is delivery so hard to spell? Then I'll just swap it just the same way I did earlier. Swap it. Then format. So I want something like 1 decimal point, like this. Then I'm going to add, because my average delivery, my time of delivery, what's it called? My time to deliver each of these projects is in days. So which means it's simply just saying this one, which is the short dates of the project start date and the long dates, sorry, for this one. So I just subtract this one to get this. Subtract this date from this date, you get this. That's how I calculated it, basically, to get how many days in between. So which means if you started a project, how long did it take each of these consultants to finish this project? 8 days, for instance, here. So remember, minus the weekends. Weekends and holiday are exempted. So that's how I got it. So I just want to keep it in days formats. All right. So I'm going to add the like this, days like this in my text to complement it. And that's it. Then I'm going to keep it with, so which means 9 days on an average level like this. Then for this one, I want to have it this. Then the color, let's format this. And this to percentage. Just 1 decimal point. First is red. Click on OK. What about green? Looking for green. Okay, this is true. Should be green. And that's it. So we're done for this. We're done with this one here. So let me do for this one. I'm just going to duplicate this, rename it as average time of delivery. Or average, sorry, I forgot what I renamed it with. The rank. Sorry for that. So I'm just going to swap it. Current month, average delivery time, and this, and that's it. So the last but not the least, for the metric we're trying to show. So we have 3 already. This is for project, this is for billing amount, this is for average delivery time. So I'm going to do the same thing for the last one. So let me quickly just do that. Sorry, I won't be talking again. I just want to do real quick. So average satisfaction rates. Average satisfaction rating. So I'm going to be using client satisfaction field. This field here. Very end. Okay. What is it? Okay. So I'm going to remove it from here and put it in a folder of its own. Average. Six. Sorry. Maybe the size. Previous month average size. Where is it? So let me do month over month. Let's do last one. 0. So let me duplicate this guy here. I want to keep this one into just a single decimal point. I'll remove the days because now it's in rating. So I'll just do from 0 to 5. So rating is basically from 0 to 5, right? So /5 this way. Sorry, 5. Like this. So which means 4.0 out of 5 for this month for Michael Anderson. For this one, month over month, this and oops, sorry, color. Did I didn't have color. Right. And the rating itself, just change it to percentage, just 1 decimal point. False is red. And let's see for true. Oops. For true. So red. So let me change it to custom. Okay. Okay, so finally, the last part is simply the tax table. So this table is basically what I'm about to do right now. So simply, I just want to see for each of these months, how many tasks are they doing by projects, name, start date, and end date, timeline, and all that with the billing amounts. So I'm simply going to do minimum of 0.1 for the first one. So under this minimum of 0.1, I'll drag the project name, project start date, project end date, and time of delivery, time to deliver. And I'm going to change this one to um, Monday and year. Oh no, let me just do. Let me do exact dates. Okay, cool. I want it to be exact dates because I'm still going to edit this. So let me just keep it this way. So the next one is minimum of 0.6. And the next one is minimum of 0.5. So I'm going to move this, move the color. Okay, let me just do this. And I'll also drag that true or false statement to my filter so that it works for what we're trying to do. Show parameters, show parameters. This 0 to 1. Oh, tax ID. So I would like to like show top 10 basically, because I don't want it to be chunk of, so I'm going to change it to top 10 of that current months and make it split to weeks. Let me change this one to custom 0 to 1, 1 to 1, this 1 to 0 to 1. So for the next one is going to be the technology used, which is the 2. I'm going to drag it to this, remove this, reduce this. So which is this technology use is the second placeholder. The third placeholder is now going to be the billing amount, how much they charged on each of these projects. That's what I'm just trying to do here. Format it properly. Format it properly, currency, amount. And for this one, I would like to change it to shape. No, shape. Then pick this, right? Increase the size. If that's too much. Then make it align inside it. And let me reduce the opacity of this one to like, let's say 25. Yeah, sounds good. So let me quickly format this. So we're almost there. So after this, we'll start building the dashboard. Very, very simple and straightforward dashboard. We just put things into place and we're good. Okay. Oops. I think I'm missing something. Okay. So I think we're good. Okay, this one. Let me change the text. So this is my tax table, which is the last thing I just want to add to this. So now let's start building the dashboard. But before then, let me just remove the tooltip. So the dashboard is this, remove the phone layout. So I want to make it, okay, let me just stay with this. I can always adjust it as time goes on. So I'll drag this to the view. So those are just the metric I needed for this project. Remember, we did the project, demographic, and tax table, and that's it. So we can start building the dashboard. So just something pretty simple, no big deal. So I have this, I want to have this. So this will be my title. I want to color it white. Then the body of it should be this color. So I can have this. Then I will put my text inside here. Consultant performance dashboard. Oops. Ah, what is this? Let me be like let's say 16 is good. So that's our title. And I can give it an inner padding of, let's say, 10 or 5. Let's see how that looks like. Okay, hold on. 10. Okay. 10 as well. This. So let me show you the wireframe real quick, then we'll jump into it. I just want to show us the wireframe, and that's it. So this is the wireframe of what we're trying to build. So, and like I said, it's just pretty straightforward. The title, we have filters by this side, we have consultant, demographic here, project preview, which is the tax table, and the KPIs we have, which is the 4 metric we're showing. Then this filter will serve as a switch to change things. So that's it. So I can start with this. Okay. For the first one, I will just give it an inner padding of, let's say, 20. Sorry, 20, yeah. So I'll pull my vertical container into this. So which will serve as this guy here, the role and specification just right beside it. So there's not like a particular way you can do things, basically, yeah. But at the same time, you're trying to follow through something very good. That would be much helpful. So I just want to like ensure, let me put a white background on this. So for this one, I want to give it an outer padding of 20 to the right. So it makes sense. So it gives room for the next container I'm bringing in, basically. Yep, that's it. So this one, not done yet. I'll have the gender below. Okay, so before then, I can change this, all this, and take it into a vertical container. So I can drag this in, drag it inside this vertical container. You see the vertical container. Okay, this is it. And instead of having this vertical container, it should be the background. So I can have gender right below it, like this. Hire date right below it, like this. And I also have another vertical container. So let me just push everything a little bit up. Let me give it a room. It's making sense gradually, right? Okay. Making sense. So I want to have a blank to separate the demographic information from the body, basically. So I'm going to have this background, this one. So and here, I'm going to have my tax table right inside here. So I can drag it in, add the title, hide the field label, then make it this. Okay, good. So, but I want to like quickly do something, just put few stuff, the title. Okay, before then, let me cancel this. I want to have an horizontal container that will add. So what I'm trying to do right now is just like give each of these fields their corresponding names. So for this one, I know that this is my tax ID. For this one, this is my project's name and some other information. For this one, this is my tool, and this one is my billing amount. Sorry, this guy is too big. Let me reduce the size here. Let me make it 8. Let me make this one 7. Sec. Okay. All right. Yep. That's it. So I want to have text inside this tax ID. The first thing, tax ID. Then I have right beside it, I have projects name. And let's say, and time frame, basically time frame. Let me just give it a time frame. So this one should be size, it's a bit smaller. And I want to have the tool, or you call it anything, tool type, anything you feel like makes sense. Tool, let me just adjust this a little bit. So it corresponds to each of the columns. It's just like you're trying to do your Excel, each of the columns. So tax ID with this, let me format this to be left aligned a little bit. So I can adjust this guy here. And this, let me just make it smaller. Okay. So, and lastly, I can have my billing amounts. So I can just use amounts. For this one here, oops, it didn't change. And so that's it. That's about that. So for this part here, for this, sorry, okay, yeah. So I might need to like increase the width a bit, or perhaps I can just adjust this a bit. I can just adjust this a little bit. Let me make this time frame very, very small. Then this one, let me make this 8 as well. Just trying to adjust everything so it's matched stuff. Okay. So the next thing is I have this vertical container here. So to be a vertical container. And this vertical container will be inside the horizontal container. So vertical container, horizontal container. Then I will have each of these KPI inside them. The project, the billing, the average delivery time, and the satisfaction rating. So for the first one, I have vertical container, horizontal container, then another vertical container that will house the first guy. So I can make this background white. Let me drag in to the container right below for the second part of the dashboard, basically. Let's drag this in, drag the rank just right below it. So I can do either beside it or below it. But I would love to do this below it for this case. So then give this vertical container here an outer padding of 20 to the right, like this. The house everything. Then drag another horizontal container just right beside it. Okay, hold on. Something is missing. Vertical container. Should be another, sorry, vertical container. No. Oops. There's always a stopper somewhere. I'm trying to Okay, I think for this one, let me just quickly do something. I want to have an inner padding of 75, 25. This, I will have this. Then for this next one, original container, 0, vertical container, 20 to the right. Okay. Let me do something. Just want to like play a trick. It's going to work. Okay, it's worked. I'm going to drag billing amounts. Sorry, I didn't change the text. Sorry. Total billing amounts. Total. And this. So the vertical container housing it, I'll change the background to white and drag this one just right below it. Hide the title. Speak it like this. Then the next one, which I have here. So the horizontal container below here, I'm going to give it an outer padding to the top because I want to create like a white space in between. So this one will create the white space. Then I can drag in another horizontal container like this. Then vertical container. Then I can pull my my time of delivery inside. So I can say average time delivery, average time, average delivery time, sorry, average delivery time. Then I have this, like this. Okay, then this just right below it. Then the container housing both of them. So I just give it a background of white, just like I did earlier, right there. Then I would create a white space in between this guy and the next guy. So I'm gonna give this one right 20. This, let me see, 10, and drag another vertical container right beside. Okay, this one ought to be this one. Error. Why this one ought to be 20? Just to make things uniform in between them. So I can have, oops. Oh, I didn't create rank for this one. So let me quickly just do that. I just realized I didn't create rank for that. For one of our metric we're trying to show. So let me just get satisfaction rating. That's it. Discover now. I didn't have it. So this one will be average. Average. I have just 10 minutes. Hey, we're done. We're done. Average. Average lines. Satisfaction rating. 10. This. Okay. So I think we're done. So I just want to like quickly adjust everything real quick. So this one 150. Oops, sorry, thing is wrong here. Okay. Okay. let me just say 35 for this. Okay, 35 is too much. Let me just say 40 for this one. And for this one, I also wanted to be 40. Yeah, so it looks good. So last thing I would just do is just show my parameters. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? So then we'll filter the view. We bring it to the front. So I'm just going to put it just right beside here. I will say horizontal plane. The last one is this. Bring to the front. Then I'll have this month filter. So I'm just going to rename it to month filter. That's it. Oops. Okay, so let's test out what we have here. So can you see it's working as expected, right? Good, 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 good. Let's test this. Can you see? So let me give each of them an inner padding. So it looks more clean. It's I think 10 is too much. Let me do 5. For this guy here, it's not showing very well because the name is long. So I know what I'll do. I'll just like edit the alias. I'll edit the alias of this one here. Okay, and this one. In this one, data is oops. Why is it jumping around? It's not properly aligned. Yeah. Okay, so we're done. Let me just put a little bit of description. I don't know. Okay. This view shows the project's performance breakdown by consultants over time. I'm going to reduce the font of this one to let's say 9 and make it 35 and there. So that's it. We're good. Any question, please? I can take question for like 5 minutes to quickly explain things. Sorry. This one is not properly formatted. What happened? Did I forget to format this? Oh, okay, I forgot to format it. I can take questions. Victory, Ali, are you there? Sorry, just a sec. I can take question shortly after this right here. Yeah. Uh, let me see. Where's the charts? Okay. Okay. Yes, the data set is already cleaned. Yeah, it's already cleaned. I ensure that all the data, the fields are properly in line with what I want to do. Yeah, it is. Please, am I using, I'm having initial measurement of for the wrong. Okay, I think that's settled. Um, Victory, are you there? Ali, are you there? Anybody? Please, if you can just like help me notify some of the questions that have not been answered. And please, if you have any other question, feel free to connect with me on X or LinkedIn, right? So we can explain some of this concept much better to you, if that's the case. So I'm trying as much as I can right now to go through all the question. Yesterday, okay. So, and the recording will be surely be available, like it will be available for everyone. So if you missed yesterday, you missed today. The reason is because the way the worksheets are a little bit different. So that's why it's not working. Yeah, that's why. So like you have, let's say for instance, you have a chart on a sheet like this, and you have KPI like this. There are two different worksheets. More like you have two placeholder right here. But for this one, look at what you have. So if I'm copying the formatting right here, I'm pasting it to this one, it will just scatter everything. Right? It will scatter everything. So that's why it's happening then. So I have to manually adjust it then. Consultant initials, beta, we can find all you need to write it. So like consultant initials has already, like I have it in the data set right here. I have the initials right here. So which I used an Excel function to get that out of it. And you can also use Tableau to like build this same initial out in Tableau by just simply writing a calculated field to get the initial fields. Why is that parameter didn't work without creating calculated field? So like I said, parameters will not work on its own. It's work in line or together with a calculated field. So parameter is just there to put your whatever you're doing to action, but there's something we called a push to action, which is the calculated field that will make it come to life. So just like the way we create this consultant name parameter, there's a calculation that needs to link with it for us to make it active, to bring it to life. That's what I'm saying. So with all this one alone, without the calculated field, which is this true or false statement I have here from the instance, which I have here, we can see that I equated the parameter to the field. So they work hand in hand, they work together. So if you click a consultant name, it will switch based on that parameter. That's what this calculation is just doing. So parameter is the action, while the calculated field is what brings it to life, like what makes it more active, more usable. Okay, I think Bolan explained that. It's not AID. Okay. Thank you very much for that. I think we're good. We're good to go. And if there's any other question, like I said, please feel free to reach out to me. So let me stop sharing. And let me on my video. All right, we're good. Please feel free to reach out to me. Sorry, don't mind my cap. You can just connect with me on LinkedIn at Israel Ayoola or on X. You can just do everything and just make it work. So connect with me anytime, any day, ask your question, and you're good to go. So you can see everything is working perfectly fine for each of the months. You can see November, in January, projects. All right. Thank you very much for your time. I hope it was very, very fun. Sorry, I was a little bit fast from the beginning, but I hope you understand the concept, right? So, and I hope we are really, really having fun. Okay. So let me just apply this. Okay. Uh, and always click it with adjusting this manually. So we meet next weekend, guys. See you next weekend. Get prepared. So from today's like, we're going to have a break till the next business dashboard, I think a week or 2 weeks after. So we're going to have the next person, which is Omokende Ayodeji. She's going to be like creating some very intuitive and appealing creative visualization. I mean, it's going to be amazing. So if you believe it has been amazing so far, just drop thumbs up. I just want to see those thumbs up. If you learned something today, just drop a thumbs up and we call it a day. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your feedback. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. See you guys next weekend. Enjoy the many days in the week and have an amazing time. All right. Bye-bye.